Welcome back to the Daily Sales Tips Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ingram. Today we've got part 4 of Dale Dupree's 5-part series. If you've missed any of the previous parts, you can go back to tips 61, 68, and 75, or click over to dailysales.tips/82, where we've got them all linked together for you. Here's Dale.
This is tip 4 of my 5 tips series here on the show. We're talking about my reason theory, which is to radically educate and share one's narrative. Today's tip is all about the O, which stands for outline inside of my reason theory. The outline is where the rubber meets the road. This is the climax of your pitch. Now that you know you have the prospect's attention, it's time to capitalize on that fact. This is the part that ties the business outline into the entire pitch and sets the tone for the first meeting between you and your prospect. So in the outline phase, we lay out our agenda. We romanticize the future business relationship between us and the prospect. The idea here is to be an option and not a sales rep. You don't want to go for the throat. You want to nurture them into these next steps. You've taken them through this entire system that radically educates them, tells your story, gains their attention, and changes the game entirely. So the last thing we want to do is get to the end of this pitch and become a pushy salesperson. In the outline phase, we also allow the prospect to own the appointment. So instead of asking them, Mr. Prospect, Mrs. Prospect, could I send you a calendar invite for 15 minutes on your schedule next week, Tuesday? We pass the prospect the ball and allow them to choose the date and time with us, which is, again, creating a sense of ownership when it comes to the upcoming meeting. You want to create an atmosphere for the prospect that feels comfortable and allows them to say yes to an appointment a lot easier. I like to say that you need to be the prospect's champion and not their conqueror. So again, when we get to the outline stage and we jump back into the business at hand, we don't want to move in for the close. Your prospect is expecting it. Instead, nurture them with the necessary information to make a decision to decide on whether or not you guys should meet in the first place. Think of it like this. Sales is the ground on which mutual interests meet that causes an undeniable feeling of satisfaction for both parties, not just the salesperson, not just the buyer. The outline portion sounds a little bit something like this. Mr. Prospect, my initial goal for our encounter is to understand you and your organization better. And look, I could sit here and spit out a bunch of generic processes and workflows that I can optimize for you and your firm based on common knowledge of your vertical, but I'm not looking to sell you a surface level solution. Getting more intimate with your business is the only way for us to know whether or not any of my ideas will be applicable in changing the game for you and your team. It's also okay to work toward developing a more sustainable relationship with the prospect at this point. Imagine a referral relationship, for example, one where you serve the prospect by helping them to be more involved in the community in which you are a trusted advisor, or vice versa. So think of the outline phase as a way to be able to tie everything in that we've discussed with the prospect up to this point regarding our reason theory, while also giving them the next steps that they own, instead of an appointment that you're forcing them to take.
I hope you're enjoying this series as much as I am. At this point, you're probably starting to get a really good sense of Dale's style. Do you agree with it? Does it match your style and your approach? Let us know. Join the conversation at dailysales.tips/82 and share your thoughts. There, you'll find links to all of Dale Dupree's stuff, including his Sales Rebellion movement. It's definitely worth checking out. Then come back next Thursday for the final installment in this series. Thanks for listening. And if you're getting value from this podcast, do me a favor and write a quick review. I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks.